All right. Have they started on your screen, or are they still sitting at the file select?
There'll be a little bit of delay.
Gotcha. So BambooShadow with 5406 on the PB, Happy with Sugar with 5832. I think that's close enough to where this is really, I mean, could be either of their games with the RNG in this run. I don't know what you think.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. So I was doing a little bit of research beforehand, and I know Sugar's PB, he had some unfortunate deaths in not D6 itself, but enter D6 split. Good amount of time to be saved there, so who knows if you can pull out through D6 without any deaths or major mistakes, maybe we'll have a nice minute PB or so.
And of course, I wanted to say the full title of this. This is The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening 2017. No save and quit, no wrong warp, no out of bounds speedrun tournament. Group C, round 2, match 3. For those of you keeping score at home.
You did a pretty good job there, but I will say you did miss the DX in the title.
Did I miss the DX? I even have it written down. Shame on me.
There is, in fact, color in this game, so this is the LADX tournament.
Both runners getting the quickest sword. Can I try saying that again? I could say it as many times as you want, but I'll choose not to. So take the damage boost from the... actually, don't even know what those enemies are called. The Gordos? Kirby enemy. Into the sword. And then they're going to head up to the forest here.
So, I'm actually a save and quit main. Not a no save and quit main, though I have ran through the route a few times, so I'm familiar with the route for the most part. But one thing that makes save and quit stand apart from no save and quit is, of course, two major things. Let's put aside ICS, which is a somewhat newish development in the save and quit route, but apart from that, beforehand, the only real major difference was the fact that Piece of Power is routed in, and I know everyone has a different sort of Piece of Power route. And of course, for a race, Piece of Power is probably pretty important when it comes to some of the dungeons, and maintaining that in some dungeons such as D5 is really important to getting an edge on some movement. What do you think in this race?
About Piece of Power.
Do you think they'll maintain it well?
I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, it's easy to screw up. It's not even up to you all the time. Bow Wow can really screw you over. But hopefully they'll keep it, get the D2, get the D3, get the D5, the ones that are important. Possibly D6. I think Bamboo routes that in. Both runners getting a good Moblin skip and a good Owl skip. Wow.
Good Moblin skip and tech skip. Very nice.
Yeah.
So that tech skip is frame perfect, as far as I am aware.
Yeah, Owl skip is one of the most finicky, kind of tricky tricks, I suppose, in this game, as far as I'm concerned. Really cool to see both runners get that.
Sure, coming out with only half a heart, which seems dangerous, but there's going to be an intentional death.
Could die to that dog right there. Yeah.
Oh man, he stumbles on the door. Sugar entering the trendy game a little bit late. Falls behind slightly.
Very close though.
Will we see a trendy game miss here? Oh, looks good.
Doesn't look like it, yeah. I do that about once every few days. Alright, so Sugar does have to be careful here, slashing the bushes here.
He did pick up a heart, actually, from the bush.
Oh, he did?
So he's safe.
Okay. He didn't get the hit anyway, so...
Alright,
so now we have to steal the shovel, steal the bow, buy a couple sets of bombs.
Oh, BambooShadow is ahead, but looks like he messed up on that steal. So now Sugar's ahead. We got a close back and forth race on our hands, guys.
It'd be really cool if they kept it this tight the whole time.
Indeed.
Bamboo going with the quick strat on the buy there. Open up the save and quit menu and skip the menu.
Or perhaps Sugar doesn't know about the skip.
Yeah. It's one of the more solid kind of save and quit tricks, I think, once you get it down and kind of have it. Both runners still really close here.
Yeah, so Bamboo does pull ahead because of the tech skips.
Here's where you might see some deviation between the piece of power kill routes. We'll see Bamboo slash a couple Octoroks here. Maybe one more? And one right there. Sugar going with the same route.
Looking good here as we enter D1.
Yeah, both pretty solid D1 enter times. Anything close to 5 minutes is very good for a race.
Alright, and they're off. So of course, there's nothing too special until the feather, and fortunately, feather is the first item in this game.
Yeah, feather really unlocks a lot of the movement tricks.
It opens up one of the most game-breaking glitches, the super jumps. So you're going to see some menus opening up on chests, and the reason for that is it skips the chest text. So every time you open a chest, there's a text. And the save and quit menu is faster than reading the text.
It makes the text box not appear, which is a little faster to open that menu and close it than to read it through the text.
Alright, so now that they have the feather, it opens up to super jumping as the first major glitch that they'll be using. My friendly co-commentator, Elfezo, would you care to explain to the kind people what super jumping is?
So super jumping is when you clip into a wall in this game. You can clip into a wall, 3 pixels, I believe? And then jump, change your direction, and perform an action. The game thinks that you're on a ledge and lets you jump a little farther and higher than you normally do because it thinks you're actually a level higher, like, I guess, Z-axis level higher than you really are. And that allows you to do things like what Sugar's about to do right here, jump over those blocks, and kind of sequence break a lot of parts of the game.
Ooh.
Very important trick.
Looks like Sugar missed the arrow kill on the Stalfos, so he actually wasted an extra arrow. We'll see if that plays a part later on.
Yeah, enemies in this game aren't totally dead until their entire death animation is finished. So if you leave the screen while their death animation is still going, they're not dead yet, and you don't get a kill towards your piece of power count. Both runners still really close, though. Good Moldorm fights, no falling in the pit. Why can't you super jump in the overworld? I actually don't know. I thought you could. But there's not much use for it as far as I know.
Yeah, you can super jump in the overworld. There's just, like, I believe only 2 ledges in the overworld that you can actually use.
Yeah, there's not a lot of places where you can actually do it.
Right.
So you'll see both runners here killing a lot of what seems like random enemies, and this is to get their piece of power kill route to the number they need it, if you'd care to explain that.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, I believe it's 30 kills is when piece of power drops. And when you have piece of power, it increases your movement speed and also the damage of your sword. So that's incredibly useful for just going fast and also killing enemies faster. I would say, not particularly certain since I don't run save and quit, or no save and quit rather, but to my knowledge, piece of power is probably the most important in D5.
Yeah, in D5 it saves probably about 30 seconds.
Really long dungeon, and have to kill a lot of enemies, which benefit from having the piece of power damage.
It's pretty much important in all of the dungeons where you can basically guarantee piece of power, which is D2, D3, and D4. So you'll see both runners going into D2 really soon, and they should both be picking up piece of power very early in that dungeon unless something goes wrong. There are flowers outside of D2 that Bow Wow, this chain chomp that they're both about to pick up, needs to eat in order to get into the dungeon. And Bow Wow eating an enemy, like a flower, actually does count towards your piece of power route, and you can't control what enemies he does or does not eat. So you can lose both time and your piece of power to Bow Wow.
Yeah, looks like both players got the 2 cycle on the king.
The mini boss there.
Moblin. Alright, and coming up here, there's a nice little glitch here called flock clip. And basically, you can get a wall clip on these trees here, and then when you hit the dialogue box for not having the power bracelets pick up these rocks, you can actually clip right through the side there. It only works on particular diagonals, and you'll be seeing it a little bit throughout the route.
So as you can see on Sugar's screen on the right here, you can see kind of what I was just talking about. He can't control what Bow Wow is doing right here. He just kind of has to wait for him to eat the flower. You can lose a lot of time to just sitting there and waiting for Bow Wow.
And of course, Bamboo has no issue getting a piece of power right where he wants.
And Sugar getting it as well. Perfect.
So it looks like Bamboo will be maintaining the lead here for a bit. No problem in this room.
Let's see, I believe Bamboo will be doing arrow strats on the mini-boss here. So we have the Hinox mini-boss. Oh no, he's going for sword slashes. So you can see with the piece of power, like Hakuo was saying, 4 slashes from the sword and that mini-boss is dead, so really easy. It takes a little bit longer if you don't have a piece of power, and you kind of have to deal with his attacks a little more. So we see Bamboo going here. There's actually a little glitch in this room that if you slash the sword when the ghosts are under you, they'll actually just leave the room. Very odd, but in order to get the bracelet, you have to defeat the ghosts in that room, and that's one way to do it.
Yeah, the other way you're normally supposed to kill them is to light the torch in the room. And with the light on, they get scared and turn black, and then you can slash them.
Good puzzle room on Bamboo. That room that Bamboo just exited and that you'll see Sugar go into in about 2 seconds is a puzzle room. You have to kill the enemies in a certain order, and you can only kill the Pole's voice, the rabbit, with the pot. And sometimes the Stalfos can kind of get in your way, like what Sugar's dealing with right now. You can
kill them with bombs too, but
well, okay, yes.
It'll be faster.
The optimal way, yeah, is with the pot there, and that Stalfos can really get in your way and ruin your sequence.
Okay, so here is the D2 boss, the Genie in a bottle. And so there's a nice little speed strat here. So normally when you fight this boss, you're supposed to pick up and throw the pot a few times to make it break. But you can actually get a wall clip and throw it into the wall and it'll break immediately. So you'll see Bamboo throwing it with a wall clip here and it'll break it immediately. And then two bombs will defeat the Genie real swift. And there you have it.
Hopefully we'll see a replay of that on Sugar's end right here. Pretty textbook D2 kill. Very nice from Bamboo. Good time, too. Sub 13 D2 time is pretty good. There's Sugar with the 1 bomb, and then the bomb arrow. Perfect.
Yeah, looks good.
Still pretty tight race.
Yeah, Sugar's still a little bit behind, but no major mistakes here so far, so he's not too far behind.
A lot can change in this game.
Yeah, he did have some bad RNG on those flowers compared to Bamboo, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Here is the infamous heart container of doom.
Heart piece of shame.
Yes,
I believe the preferred nomenclature there.
Oh, sorry.
So Bamboo missing the heart piece of shame. Hopefully Sugar will do the same.
I hear if you pick up the heart piece of shame, you have to reset your run.
It is a bannable offense, yes. You actually, if you have a PB, it'll just get deleted from the leaderboard, I think.
Alright, so he skips the heart piece just fine.
Yep, valid run so far. So here we have a trick called Villa Skip. And the way this works is, if you fall down this pit... Oh, wow.
Whoa, the 1 buffer.
Yeah, I didn't even have time to explain it, Bamboo. If you fall down that pit and pause on the same frame, you get knocked down into this bush maze that you're supposed to do some other parts of the game to get into and then get the D3 key. But because we can kind of sequence break it using that glitch, we can just grab the D3 key early and then use a similar glitch to get out. Sugar having a little bit of trouble there, but hopefully...
This trick, I believe, is not RNG, but in terms of artsy, it's practically RNG.
Yeah, it's more or less RNG. There's a global frame counter that has to trigger at the same time that you pause, and there's no way you can know when that is. So you can see over here, Sugar had to pause a few more times.
It looks like he had a 6 buffer, I believe.
I didn't quite count, but there's no way to control that. So Bamboo was very fortunate with his 1 buffer. Each buffer costing like, what, a couple seconds?
Yeah, I believe it's 2 seconds per menu. Looks like Bamboo having a fine party room, as I like to call it. The first room to get the small key. And we proceed forward. So there's a nice little super jump here. Yeah, it messes it up.
Yeah, there's several ways to do a super jump, and he tried to do it without kind of slashing the sword midair. There's the way you can do it with slashing the sword.
Right. So this dungeon here is the key cavern, and normally you're supposed to collect a heck of a lot of keys. Coming up here, nice piece of power, just where he wants it. And coming up here is a somewhat new skip, where you get to skip these dodongos, and you can use this to get to the Pegasus boots early. It's a bit complicated, but the super jump followed up with the sword swinging to clank off of the dodongo allows you to bounce back past the key block, so you actually can skip one key. Well, actually, we skip two keys in this route because there's also a flock clip coming up, which can skip the final key block.
So, Sugar picking up his piece of power in D3 as well. About to go to the same super jump again. Yeah, we actually do that trick twice in here, where we kind of slash the sword off of the dodongo.
And no problem with the flock clip. I will point out that if you have a key, you cannot do a key block flock clip, just because you'll just open the key block.
Right.
Likewise, you won't be able to do flock clip on rocks if you have bracelets equipped, or pots.
See Bamboo going for the quick kill strat on the, I guess, Victorious fight? Oh, messes it up a little bit, but not too costly, maybe a second.
Yeah, still pretty good.
Got Sugar going for his second dodongo skip there, and the flock clip to follow.
No problems on the dodongo skips. So if you fail the dodongo skip, you can soft lock, which is quite a bit of time lost. But it looks like there are no issues on either side.
Sugar going to the boss fight here. Ooh, Bamboo misses the owl bomb trigger. If you do what's called a bomb trigger there, where you drop one bomb and then a frame later on the next screen, well, I guess that's not completely true, but close enough, you drop another bomb, you can actually skip that cutscene, or at least parts of that cutscene. It's a little faster, but he messed it up there, but so no real time loss. He saved a couple bombs, but could have been a little faster.
So bomb triggers are a little bit complicated to explain, but essentially it allows you to trigger cutscenes early, in a sense.
Yeah, we'll be seeing a lot more of those. In fact, we'll see another one in about a minute from now.
Looks like Bamboo's going right to avoid the... I don't know what they're called. Buzzbug? Yeah.
Yep. Alternatively, you can call it a Riddler, because that's his picture on SNL.
Right. Okay, so here is probably one of the bigger time saves with bomb triggers. And what you can do here with the bomb trigger is activate the ocarina song here. Ballad of the Windfish early. Without even having the ocarina, actually. So you can
skipping the ocarina, skipping learning a bunch of songs, skipping the Dream Shrine. Pretty big sequence break. But now what you can't see actually is Bamboo's locked out of his controls. He can only use the directional pad. He can't use A, B, start, select. He has to enter a sub area in order to get his controls back. So he'll be walking up to this cave here and then coming back out immediately just to kind of unlock his controls.
Right. And the reason for that is the game thinks you're still in a cutscene, so you can't activate any buttons. Alright, and so there's a quick kill on the land mole here. Bamboo seems to get it just fine.
Using the music cue, I believe, there to not fall in the pit. That's a big point of contention between he and I. Not really a point of contention, it's just we like to give each other trouble about it when we miss. If you fall down that pit, you have to go back into that little sub-area he entered to get his controls back, and it wastes a little bit of time. Maybe 20 seconds. That's not
One thing I didn't mention is that you can actually soft lock on the walrus.
Yeah,
it looks like either player soft lock, so we're good to go.
That's probably the biggest soft lock potential area is Walrus Skip. But yeah, both runners totally fine on that.
I believe it's sub-pixel dependent?
Yeah, it depends on your strategy. I actually do a different strat than both of these runners. I do from the top down, is what we call it.
Top screen seems to be safe because you can.
I believe for those screen transition bomb triggers, you have to be moving vertically. So it's a little harder to do it going from a screen left to right than it is going from a screen top to bottom. So both Bamboo and Sugar running over to the D4 keyhole, hopefully, to unlock D4.
Now, there have been cases where people forget to unlock the D4 keyhole, so...
Looks like Bamboo didn't forget. Hopefully Sugar won't make that mistake. Yeah, normally you have to get the ocarina and bring Marin to the walrus in order to get past that area, but with the bomb triggers we can trigger the cutscene to happen even without those items, and it saves a lot of time.
Yeah, pretty much anywhere where you're normally supposed to use the ocarina, you can actually just use a bomb trigger to trigger the cutscene that happens there instead. So bomb triggers are quite broken. You'll be seeing it 2 more times in the route.
So BambooShadow approaching the infamous obstacle skip here. Kind of a tough lineup for the trick that saves about half a second and wastes a lot of time if you miss it. Let's see if he gets it.
Also looks really cool. Looks like a good position.
Yep, and there he goes. One out of 4.
It's just standing in the proper position to jump over that last.
It's tough to line up in order to not lose time on the lineup. Is really the tough part there. So Bamboo entering D4. We do D4 in 2 parts in this route. We do half of it now in order to get the flippers so we can swim. You can't normally swim in deep water without the flippers. And then we go to D5 afterwards and we finish D4 later. And the reason we do that is because it skips a sequence in the game where after you complete D4, you have this ghost that follows you around. You have to take him back to his house. You have to take him to all these different locations, I think. It's been a long time since I've done it.
You gotta take him to a gravestone and then take him to his house.
Right. So if we do D4, grab the flippers, don't finish the dungeon entirely, and then go do D5, we can actually skip that, because after we complete D5, I believe, or maybe D6...
so the trigger to stop the ghost from spawning is actually having bracelets level 2.
Oh, okay. So we can do D5 and D6, and then go back to D4, and finish it then, and skip that entire sequence with the ghost.
Yep. Weird how that works out, but
yeah, interesting.
Skipping the ghost does save a lot of time.
Yeah, coding oddity.
So one thing to note, though, is the ghost spawns as a consequence of obtaining, I believe it's the cutscene after the instrument. So in some categories, you can skip the instrument cutscene, and the ghost will not spawn, allowing you to finish D4 in one go. But since you cannot save and quit, you won't be able to skip the cutscene of D4. So the dungeon D4 will have to be split up into 2 parts.
In this category, at least.
Yep.
So Bamboo heading over to D5, Sugar finishing up D4, having a little trouble with that Tektite chest room. That room's a mess, really.
Yeah, it's quite a weird jump to get around that bomb block. And of course, the diagonal jump across the plus hole. Alright, so Bamboo on the way to D5.
And I haven't been paying close enough attention to see, but I don't believe that piece of power dropped outside of D5, so he should be getting his D5 piece of power and saving a good amount of time.
Right.
We should see that in one of the early rooms in D5 here. Getting a couple extra kills for piece of power to drop.
Ooh!
Great enemy RNG there.
Oh!
Picking up... That's okay, though, because he can just walk up and get the piece of power. I'm sure his heart stopped for a second, though.
I'm sure. Yeah, so really good RNG in that first... the room with the... what are they called? Helmosaur and the 4 bats.
Yeah, this dungeon is just chock full of annoying enemies. You have these Stalfos that like to jump around and throw bones at you. You have these Helmosaurs that you can only attack from the back. And you'll see a couple of those coming up right here that he has to kill in order to open a door.
He almost gets the jump to the platform.
Yeah, you can see how this is a bit of a mess.
Are annoyingly RNG.
Yeah, it's just RNG what way they face, and hopefully you get a good pattern.
Yeah. And you can see how Piece of Power definitely helps killing those, because you only need 1 slash to kill them, which otherwise, without Piece of Power, you would need 2 slashes or a spin attack. Alright, so here's a recurring mini-boss, the Master Stalfos. The first and fourth phase, he takes 3 bombs to die, and then the second and third, he only takes 2. Though you don't need to use bomb arrows on the last bomb, I suppose, because you have to wait for him to jump back up anyway.
Yeah, the timing is the same as long as you get enough hits.
Right.
And Sugar picking up his D5 Piece of Power in the spot that he wanted it, so both runners good on that. The thing we didn't mention about Piece of Power is if you take 3 hits after you pick up Piece of Power, you actually lose it, and you slow back down, and your hits go back to normal damage, and you don't have any knockback on your hits anymore. So it's really important that these runners don't take too much damage in this dungeon until they get to the boss, in which case they'll probably both intentionally get rid of Piece of Power, so you'll see them take intentional damage, because the boss fight in this dungeon is a little easier without it.
Right. The knockback is slightly kind of both ways, so when you slash an enemy, even Link kind of gets knocked back a little bit.
Right.
Which makes the boss a little bit tougher to get multiple hits on. Nice D-boost.
Damage boost, yeah.
Boost.
It's a little bit of a tricky jump here on Bamboo's screen. You gotta jump across here. Normally you use the hook shot to pull that bridge across, but we can just kind of use the boots and jump over it.
He does fail at 1 time, but that's okay. And that's getting the boss key early. Unfortunately, this dungeon, the hook shot is all the way in one of the first areas, so there's a lot of backtracking back and forth, which is why it ends up faster to get the boss key while we're near the boss key.
That's why Piece of Power is so valuable in this dungeon, because of all the walking around.
Let's see if his party room round 2 is good.
A little bit more trouble this time, it looks like. Taking a little bit of damage.
Not bad, though.
Yeah.
So when
a little
he comes
bit of damage is... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, when he comes back through here, those 2 Helmosaurs won't be an issue, because he can just use the hook shot to knock him out. Alright, so this is the last Master Stalfos, and this time he will actually be using 3 bomb arrows, because it will actually kill Master Stalfos and make him drop the hook shot earlier.
Yeah, unlike the other phases, this phase is the faster you can kill him, the sooner it's over, and the sooner you get your hook shot.
Yeah, and also you want to hit him towards the door, because you're coming back this way.
Less walking. We'll see if Bamboo actually uses the sword on these Helmosaurs here, instead of the hook shot. Yep.
He's going for it.
A little faster, yeah. If you can get good RNG, that is.
Oh, his RNG was not bad. So I didn't mention it, but Sugar went with the slightly easier bonk on the wall strat for the early boss key. If you bonk on the left wall, you can actually line yourself up real nice to get the boss key skip easier.
So Bamboo loses his Piece of Power, but that's okay actually, because this is about where he would wanted to lose it anyway. Because right here we have the boss door, and right here he would want to not have Piece of Power anymore anyway.
Yeah, and he opts to use boots to get across the gap instead of hookshot. Sugar not really getting a nice party room the second time either.
Looks like he lost his Piece of Power as well, so he's walking a little slower.
Alright, so boss of G5 here, Slime Eel. Ideally, you can kill Slime Eel in 2 phases. And there is a particular strat that sort of eliminates RNG, but you don't always get it because of how tricky some positions can be.
Yeah, one of the trickier bosses in this game for sure.
Looks like you do that a 3 cycle, I believe.
I think that was a 4 cycle. Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. He's still ahead, so no problem. Alright, so Sugar opting to go with the hook shot to kill the Helmosaurs in this room.
Yeah, a little bit safer to go with that strat.
Another piece of power drop.
Yeah, that'll happen in D5. Lose your piece of power, get offered another one. It's actually slower to pick it up the second time because you have to lose it anyway.
Well, unless you want to go a little gung-ho and just use it on the boss.
That's true. That's what Zorlax used to do. He liked doing Wall Snake with piece of power, actually.
Alright, so coming up here is D6. One of the more dangerous areas, I suppose.
Definitely.
You need the face key to open up D6, and the route to the face key is through an Armos maze. And these Armoses actually do a lot of damage if you get hit by one. And on top of that, you have to get through some annoying enemies like Tektites and Bomb Fairies.
Yeah, Bamboo actually already took one hit off that Bomb Fairy earlier. Kind of RNG bad luck there, but it happens. So you'll see he's bumping these Armos out of the way with the shield so you can kind of get by them, squeeze through by the wall there. And ideally, you can get Bow Wow to eat a few of them like that. That one didn't help, but saves you a little bit of time.
Wall clip that penultimate one there too. Alright, so coming up here is the Armos Knight, and so there's a strat we call boot strat. There's a million different variations of how people do this.
Ooh, he got the recovery though. So ideally you don't take damage there from that mini-boss, but Bamboo was actually able to take damage and then recover and bounce off the wall at the right time and get boot strats anyway. Very impressive.
Looks like he went with the classic OG boot strat.
That is the correct boot strats, as far as I'm concerned.
I also do it that way. Looks like he doesn't get the wall clip past the first Armos coming out, but that's okay. You can wall clip on the first two coming out, and you can skip having to shield bonk them. Alright, looks like he gets through the Armos maze just fine.
Sugar coming up to the same area. Armos maze into boot strats. So if Bamboo has enough health here, he can actually damage boost through this Armos and get through a little sub area. And then we'll see another bomb trigger to skip a cutscene of D6 opening. He'll actually shoot a bomb arrow into the wall to his left, which will cause the cutscene to render in that particular area, and then Bow Wow eats it because cutscenes are enemies, as we all know. It's very odd, hard to explain. There it is, and he picks up a piece of power.
No.
That's actually bad because he has to go through the text there. Doesn't really waste too much time, but I think he was going for it in D6.
Yeah, I'm sure he wanted to pick it up in the dungeon.
Yeah.
Just one short
Yeah.
of picking it up where he wanted it. Although I have to say, since we didn't mention it, Bamboo did opt to go for the safe go around the left side to have Bow Wow eat the Armos out of the way. And so here he's going to use bomb and arrows. You can get through this room without equipping the feather with the right directional inputs. There's RNG where those big blob guys spawn, or not where they spawn, but where they move. That looks like he gets the 1 damage.
Sugar having a little bit of trouble with boot strats there, but I believe your pre-game research concludes that that's probably still a time save for him.
Yeah, he did die there in his PB. I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know which boot strat he went for. It looks like he got through just fine.
Yeah, he took a couple hits of damage, so he has to be a little careful going through the Armos maze here. He won't be able to do any damage boosts, but hopefully no deaths. So death close to D6 entrance is a little costly, or it can be depending on where you die.
Yeah, if you die before entering the cave, then you get put back all the way to the Armos maze, so that is a pretty huge time loss. It looks like he'll be just fine.
So, some nice bomb placement here. We can kill all 4 of these Wizrobes in one go.
Very nice. So coming up here is a newer route for D6. And what he's going to do is actually, so in this chest up by the 3 Tektites, there's actually a small key there. In the old route used to get it, but now the small key is skipped in favor of going around and going through the Knight Heads. A nice little flock clip here to get by the key block.
And another super jump. It's possible to soft lock there, so you got to be a little careful on your lineup, but no problems for Bamboo. One thing we didn't mention, which you'll be able to see Sugar come up to pretty soon here, is that when those tiles that come up and fly at you, you can actually avoid all damage on those. You can actually avoid, I think, all damage from enemies if you hook shot into a pot or possibly a block with 1 pixel away. What was that?
Box 2, right. Yeah, it's still a hook shot and invulnerability glitch.
Yeah, we should
And
be
so
able to
coming
see
around
Sugar.
the top, you can flock clip through that key block too.
There's so much tech in this dungeon that it's hard to get it all into.
Alright. Looks like his knight heads were not great, but they were fine. So no real issues.
Yeah, those, as you mentioned, those knight heads were recently routed in, and it's just RNG whether you get both of them standing up or not, which is what you need to open the door.
Yeah, and so in Sugar's PB, he actually had really bad RNG on the knight heads. I think he ended up losing like 20 seconds on this dungeon or something like that, so hopefully he gets better RNG this time around.
Bamboo defeating the enemy, the boss rather, Facade. Just 5 bombs on the face. You can actually drop 3 bombs before the boss fight even really starts. Really easy boss.
For some reason, his hitbox is active even before he talks to you, interestingly enough.
Sugar going through the Wizrobe room up to the super jumps to get around. Well, I guess I don't know. This skips a lot of stuff.
Yeah, skips a mini boss too, and a couple of rooms.
Bamboo getting a bomb trigger, skipping some owl cutscene. Doesn't skip the text, but does skip the actual animation of the owl flying in and out of the screen. So saves about 3 seconds, I believe.
Right.
A little risky though, being lower on bombs.
Yep. So he's swimming up north here through the past the Frapped minigame, and gonna enter right back into D4 to finish up D4. Some unfinished business.
And Sugar getting past all the scary soft lockable super jumps there, so no soft lock on his end. Very nice.
Yeah, let's see if he gets better RNG on these knight heads.
Yeah. Second try is pretty good. About a 25% chance, I think. 1 out of 4 to get those both standing up.
So Bamboo is still in the lead here. Coming up to a super jump that bonks off of a P-hat in order to fling yourself onto an upper ledge here to get the boss key early.
Yep, slash sword, bonk off the P-hat. Pretty cool trick.
Indeed. Alright, so there is a strat coming up on this boss fight where you can use a spin it to skip using 1 bomb arrow. It looks like Bamboo's gonna go for it.
Yeah, I believe that's pretty precise.
It's just fine.
Shout out Suckerbone.
Yeah, normally you would use 3 bomb arrows there.
So now D4 is officially finished. But as you mentioned earlier, we have the level 2 bracelet, so we're not going to get any ghost shenanigans.
So no ghosts. I feel bad for the ghost, but we're not going to be sending him to heaven this race.
It just takes too much time. And Sugar finishing up D6 there.
Alright, so here we're coming up to the infamous Brewster Skip. And this is one of the most difficult tricks, especially for new runners to learn next to Moblin Skip. And this trick is basically a trick that is part of the reason why the ocarina can be skipped. So normally you would get the ocarina to revive a dead Brewster in order to fly across these pretty large gaps. But there is a glitch called hookshot jumping, which you can use to navigate through the large gaps instead of using the rooster, effectively skipping the rooster. As such, the Brewster Skip.
In addition to that, we have another obstacle skip coming up. I didn't see if Sugar got his first one, but this could be 2 for 2 for Bamboo. Wow, nice. So saved about a second in total. So as Hakuo said, double frame perfect trick, really difficult. A few different methods you can do it. You can do a buffered method, which is a little slower. You can do unbuffered method, which is much more difficult, but a little faster. I believe we'll see Bamboo going for unbuffered, unless he's doing some safe race strats here.
Yeah, and Bow Wow can get in the way.
Yeah, just to make matters worse.
Oh, wow.
Oh, almost double firsties.
Wow.
Wow. Still a great Brewster Skip.
Yeah, double first, but then just barely didn't get to the ledge and almost fell down. But
I'm sure he's happy with that one, though.
Yeah, no problem. And looks like Sugar is not opting for the quick spin, or the spin attack, and just going for 3 bomb arrows.
So Bamboo making his way to D7. If we're lucky here, we'll see another sort of cutscene skip, I guess. As I kind of mentioned earlier, the cutscenes are actually placed into the game as enemies, and Bow Wow can eat just about any enemy that he comes across, including a cutscene. So we have ways to line up, you know, kind of when you unlock D7, there's this big long cutscene where D7 kind of rotates around and the door opens. We can skip all that if we're fortunate enough to have Bow Wow eat that, and there's a setup that is fairly consistent that we'll probably see Bamboo go for. So if you get like a really long note drawn out in the music and everything kind of stops for a second and Bamboo walks off the screen, that's what's going on. Let's see if he gets it here. Yep.
Oh, there you go. Just hear the nice sound of Bow Wow eating a cutscene. Alright, so D7 is actually really broken. Normally in D7, you're supposed to knock down some pillars in order to unlock a sort of layer of the dungeon. Normally you're supposed to bring around an iron ball with you to knock down 4 pillars in the dungeon. But you can actually trigger the pillar breaking animation with bomb triggers. And one of the ways to get a bomb trigger to activate is actually via these holes. You can drop bombs pretty quick down a hole to trigger them. And so you can see he's going to do these bomb triggers to knock down the pillars.
Yeah, one down the pit, one on a screen transition. You'll see another one on the pit here.
Very nice. So he blows up the wall and then uses the
and
bomb.
Then one last one there. It's very important that you get a lot of bombs for this route.
Yep.
We've got Sugar coming up to Brewster Skip here, I believe, for his first try.
Alright, so Bamboo's going to skip equipping the sword. And so I believe he'll probably going for Goomba Surf, which is a strat to get the boss, or to skip the boss key, rather. Although, where the Goombas move is incredibly RNG, so hopefully he gets good Goomba RNG. Sugar opting to go for the buffered method.
First try, though.
Ooh, really good RNG on the Goombas on Bamboo's
RNG.
side. So he's going straight to the boss.
Now Sugar's also going to make his way over to D7 while Bamboo's dealing with this boss. So we used to kill this boss. We used to do the dungeons actually out of sequence in this route. We would do the last dungeon before this dungeon. We would do D8 before D7, and that would allow us to get the fire rod, shoot fireballs, and we used to use that to kill this boss. But now, since we have kind of changed the route up, we use bombs here, so with some precise timing, Bamboo's actually able to throw the bombs up and let them explode right in Evil Eagle's face.
Yep. And there's not too much of a time difference. They both died. Both methods will kill the Evil Eagle in 3 hits.
Yeah, roughly the same. I'm sure that Fire Rod's probably slightly faster.
Yeah, slightly faster because you can
maybe
hit him while he's scrolling on screen. But yeah. Movement-wise, it's faster to go to D7 first in the overworld than it is for D8.
And you might have noticed that Bamboo was hanging out kind of down towards the bottom of the screen there. That's to kind of manipulate Evil Eagle into flying at him from the side rather than doing any of his other attacks. Makes the bomb setups a little easier. Sugar getting the cutscene skip.
Alright, so open up the save and quit menu. Actually, I believe kind of like sort of shifts you downward a little bit, so you can actually skip falling in that hole.
Yeah, that particular trick, I'm not really sure about why that works the way it does.
And so using that, you can get back up the mountain to D8 faster than falling down the hole and swimming back around.
So we're about to see Bamboo come up to a potential cutscene here where you talk to Marin. I think it's about 45 seconds, but with some precise jumps, he can actually skip that. You just gotta stay a little lower towards the bottom of the screen here.
Also known as, sadly, abandoning Marin and not saving her.
Yeah.
Sad times, but cannot save the waifus. It's too slow.
Cravone's saying that the save and quit menu allows you to use a little bit more movement, I suppose. So I guess to get around that pit after D7, you can move a little more by opening the save and quit menu and kind of avoid the pit, which makes sense. I believe that.
That makes sense. Alright, so coming up here, you notice that we skipped the dungeon item of D7, the mirror shield. And normally you need the mirror shield to get through this fire cannon, but you can actually deboost through it just fine.
Yeah, there's a couple ways to do that flame skip, actually. I kind of jump when I do it and kind of get pushed out. Yeah,
I jump as well. So here, another instance of where you're normally supposed to use the ocarina to wake up this turtle rock, but you can just bomb trigger to activate that ocarina cutscene instead.
And the turtle doesn't have a hitbox, so you can just walk right through his face and straight into the dungeon.
Yeah, skip that fight as well. So there are a few different routes to get through D8. I'll see Bamboo opting for one of the newer ones with the swordless super jump.
Got a little sideways block pushing coming in here.
Just a little faster.
So Sugar got his Goomba Surf, and now he's doing the Evil Eagle fight as well.
A little bomb hole here.
And then another super jump to get up here to the key block, unlock the key block, go into the sub area.
So here's a nice mini boss, Bueno. It's skipped in other game, but not in this game. Banned, you say?
Yeah, Bueno skip used to be a thing until we decided that it was out of bounds. Roughly, oh man, 2.5, 3 years ago. Bamboo getting the fire rod.
Magic
like
rod,
I was talking. Magic rod. Yeah. I call it the fire rod.
I also call it the fire rod. Gotta appease the chat, because it's technically the magic rod. And from this point forward, you can just go straight to the boss.
Getting burless, looks like, yep.
A refight. Our good friend Cue Ball from D4, this time surrounded by lava instead of water. Can still be stun locked with spin attacks, so he is no problem.
And now it's time for everyone's favorite room. Puzzle block room. Gotta cover every tile with this puzzle block that you're controlling with your D-pad. You can still jump around and get some more optimal movement, kind of end up about where the chest is gonna spawn after he's finished with the puzzle. But if you mess up your inputs, you have to do it again. Or if you fall down, well, if you fall in the pit, you can keep going, but it's a little more difficult. First try, though.
Yeah, no problem. It can be a bit finicky, so...
Yeah, very.
It's especially frustrating when you're on, like, the last hole and you fail it. Alright, so coming up here is a trick called Jesus Jump. And what you can do is buffer to land on the lava, and then you can jump off of the lava.
Yep, if you jump, I believe, the same frame that you hit the lava, or you can do it with water if you don't have the flippers. You can actually jump, and then he uses that jump to get clipped into the wall a little bit to do a super jump towards the boss room.
It's just going through an underground area around to get to the boss key, or the boss door normally.
Defeating a hothead, kind of a finicky boss fight as well.
It's like a 3-cycle.
And of course, everyone's favorite glitch. Okay, he remembered.
Wang boys. He used the magic rod at the right time, and Link will show it off during the instrument cutscene. So Bamboo maintains the lead here, and Sugar just finally entering D8 now.
Still close-ish race. Maybe possible for a catch-up, but I don't know. We'll have to see. The final boss is one of the most RNG-ridden parts of this game, so I suppose something crazy could happen.
I would say Bamboo would have it in the bag right now, but you never know.
Yeah.
The Aghanim phase of the final boss fight, Death Eye, can really screw you over. Okay, so here's the final instance of the final conclusion to Ocarina Skip. Normally you're supposed to play the instrument, but once again, you can use a bomb trigger to trigger the instrument, the Ocarina cutscene, where you play the Ballad of the Windfish.
Bamboo having a little bit of trouble getting lined up there, but he gets the bomb trigger. Not the last bomb trigger, though.
Oh yeah, you're right, you're right. There is one more optional one.
Last Ocarina Skip, not the last bomb trigger.
Indeed. Yeah, so you learn the bombs are instruments, indeed.
Yeah, right. Bombs are instruments, enemies are cutscenes. Or cutscenes are enemies, rather. Got Sugar picking up the magic rod.
Yeah. Looks like his D8 went just fine.
So far, he's still got a little bit of stuff to go. He's still got that infamous puzzle room.
So here's the Windfish Egg. So normally you're supposed to obtain a book which tells you which direction to go in the Windfish Egg, but there's actually always one consistent route you can go through, and it will get through the Windfish Egg every time. So instead of finding the book, you can just do it this way.
So we'll see. This is the last instance of a bomb trigger now here. You kind of spam the bomb button and you can skip the boss text. It's a pretty good skip. It's a lot of text to skip. Bamboo gets it, and then he's going to try to line up for a blob quick kill here. If you line up on the right pixel, slash your sword at the right time, you can actually beat the blob without using powder, which is how you're normally supposed to do it. He misses it. It's kind of RNG whether you get it or not. Right. So he's just going to finish off 2 more hits with the powder, and then we'll go into the next phase.
Okay. So here's the most RNG phase next to the final phase of the fight. This is the Aghanim phase. Much like A Link to the Past, he can throw either a ball that we can reflect or a ball we cannot reflect. Although it's not necessarily colored blue, we still call them blue balls as a tribute to A Link to the Past. The first 2 balls that Aghanim throws will always be reflectable, but the next 2 are just 50-50s.
Yep, so he's 3 for 4 right now. No blue balls yet.
Oh,
0.
and the perfect.
Wow.
0 blue balls. So looks like he does get good RNG. So I have to say, it's looking like Bamboo is going to take this.
It's the Moldorm quick kill there. If you slash your sword at the right time and keep slashing, you can actually kill Moldorm really fast without him actually even attacking you. Gonna go for the, I guess, Ganon quick kill there with the boots. Land Mola quick kill just by hitting him once.
And here's the final RNG of the game. This is the final form, the ultimate form of Deathel. And how long it takes for him to open his eye and how frequently he opens his eyes complete the RNG. Ooh, only gets 3 hits. So it takes 16 arrows to finish off this phase.
You can get 4 in one eye opening, but it's pretty tight timing.
Yeah.
You kind of have to avoid the swinging arms, kind of change patterns as you hit them more.
Alright.
Wow, this is a great time for Bamboo. This is very close to his PB. Not going to quite beat it, I don't think.
It's a 54. Very respectable.
Yeah, very much. Scary stuff.
It looks like BambooShadow is going to take the tournament game with a 54-14. Looking really nice. And actually got some really good RNG.
Yeah, great time.
And Sugar's just finishing up, but just about to enter the Windfish Egg himself.
Yeah, Sugar's on pretty good pace too, but that was a great run by
He's
Bamboo.
actually on good pace. Maybe he'll PB.
I think it's possible. His current PB is 58.32, so anything under that.
Yeah, it's quite possible.
Bamboo just mashing through some text, probably trying to get to some music here rather than just silence. Of course, we have the carpet whale.
Very pretty rainbow windfish whale thing.
Kind of bad timing. Sugar's got like a boring cutscene, and Bamboo's just mashing through text.
Alright, so it's in the windfish egg now, and Sugar said.
Yep, and same path, left, up, right, up, left, up, lurulu, as we like to say. So see if Sugar gets the text skip bomb trigger. Kind of just mash bomb, or at least I do. I just kind of mash the bomb button, and it usually works. And then let's see if he can line up for the blob quick kill here.
Yeah,
Again,
so
kind of RNG if he gets it or not.
who had bad RNG? Let's see what Sugar gets.
Looks like Sugar
Oh,
got it.
yeah, okay, he gets it. Very nice. Skip's having to equip the powder too.
Yeah, it's actually a decent time save to get that quick kill.
Alright, so let's see what Aghanim gives. So remember, the first two are always reflectable. It's coming up right in the middle here. 3 for 4.
3 for 4 again.
Oh,
There's 1 blue ball. 1 is pretty average. 1's not too bad.
ooh, 2.
2 starts to get a little worse.
He does get no blue balls in his PB. Ooh,
Yeah.
3 of them.
That's when you start to get a little salty at 3.
Ooh, 4.
Really bad RNG on his side.
Now, this is the final one too, so 4 in a row.
If he can just get one more good one. There it is.
Alright, there it is. Oh no! He
Misses
fails
the
the
Moldorm quick kill.
Moldorm quick kill, so
Holding
Moldorm is
El
going to
Fezzo,
be
as some people would say.
bouncing around.
Yeah, you can see how much time that quick kill really saves because you don't have to wait for the invincibility frames. You don't have to kind of follow him around the room, but finish it nonetheless. Gets the Ganon kill, gets the Lammola kill, switches over to arrows and feather, and hopefully some good RNG on Deathel here.
He does get the 4 cycle in his PB as well.
Yeah, it looks like probably not a PB for Sugar, but a good run nonetheless.
Yeah, pretty close to his PB as well. So both runners relatively close to their PBs.
Getting pretty good RNG on the Deathel phase, though.
Yeah, indeed.
I think he missed a couple 4 cycles, but he should get a good... Yep, there it is. Actually, that might be a PB for him if he gets to the stairs in time. No. Okay, maybe his speedrun.com time is off, because it looks like his timer went red there.
Unless he, like, skipped a split or something.
Yeah, it could be. 58.31.
31.
I was seeing a 58.32 as his current PB, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe that was somebody else.
Could it be
on the leaderboards? It could be a
1 second
0.09
PV. Not even 1 second. 0.1 second PV.
Great run nonetheless.
Wow.
I'm sure he's happy with it.
I don't know. I'd be pretty salty for a 1 second PV.
Well, it's a race, you know.
Yeah, I suppose racing PB in a race is pretty good.
So Bamboo, Sugar, I don't know if you guys want to hop into the Discord quick. Maybe some post-game debriefing. Yeah, 4 blue balls. If he would have got some better RNG on that on the Aghanim phase, he could have actually maybe got a 57.
Yo!
Hey Bamboo, grats on the run, dude. That was great.
Hello. Yeah,
Oh my god,
low 54 in a race. That's pretty good.
that run was so fucking insane.
Yeah.
Shit.
Scary stuff, man. I'm glad I'm not in your group.
You got some really nice RNG there too. No blue balls, pretty quick Goomba surf. Good stuff.
Oh my god, that was amazing. Like the first few parts, I was just like, I don't know, like Entity 1 was so garbage because I was still like messing around with the volume of my CRT.
I have to say though, that piece of power, 1 kill early outside of
that did
T6.
hurt.
Yeah.
I left D5 with a feeling, okay, you killed quite a lot there in D5, and I knew, oh shit, if Bauer is gonna eat a lot, and it's gonna be really close, and yeah, he did eat so much in Almost Mace. I was already sure it will drop either with a cutscene eat or before that. That was really unfortunate. That might have costed me the PB there.
Yeah, maybe so.
BambooShadow doesn't have permission to hop into the commentary channel, so if you want to give him commentator.
He can hop in the general channel and we can move him.
Oh, okay. Let's do that then. Well, we have to move the restream, I suppose, too.
Where did you write?
Oh, okay. No, I see what you're saying.
You can actually do the same, though. Oh, there he is. Okay.
There he is.
Yo,
What's up, Sugar?
Hello.
So we have to ask, did you actually PB by 1 second? Your timer is red, so we weren't sure.
He's a 58-18.
I
lost. I wasn't recording it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If I'm being completely honest, I accidentally sped the game up during Enter D6 for like half a second, so it was wrong.
Hit the speed up
totally
button.
Not trying to cheat at all. Please don't kick me out of the tournament.
Although if we add that half second back, then it looks like you tied your recorded PB.
It's alright. His SRL time is 1 second behind his actual timer stopped, so.
Yeah.
I gotta say, speed up though. Speed up button's pretty good strat.
I don't know why no one's used it before. Free world record.
Well, great run from both of you guys. Very impressive.
That run should have died so many times. I got really lucky to even end up with a time close to my PB, so I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it looks like you had a bit of trouble in D5. It looked pretty scary there.
I did some stupid things trying to kill the Helmosaurs, which ended up costing me a lot of time, but I need more practice. I was pretty rusty in this, so still good run for me.
Bamboo, tell me about the Brewster Skip.
Oh my freaking god, that was so insane. Like, I was going a little bit nervous into that, but yeah, I just went all in since I was still on PB pace, and yeah, like after I got the second jump, I was already like, okay, this is gonna work, and then like, oh my god, you should have seen my face. No, I didn't make it over. And then like just the casual hop once again. This was like, I don't know. And also the first try Goomba Surf. This run was just insane.
Yeah, I was very nervous for you on that third jump. I was like, oh, and then after you made it, I was sure that you were happy about it. But yeah,
I didn't even mash there. It was turning me back into the pit, and I was like, oh my god, oh shit, I still have to do stuff here because I was already like pressing left and just waiting for me to leave the screen. It was weird.
Right. Well, congrats to you again. Any last words, guys?
Your shoutouts to Happy. Thanks so much for the nice. It was very great.
It was very much fun racing you, Bamboo.
Almost
look forward to the rest of the tournament.
Oh yeah, it will be great. And yeah, thanks so much for Alfezo and Hakua for doing the commentary.
Yeah, gladly.
Yep. Well, great runs, guys. I guess we'll hand it back over to Speed Gaming. I'd like to see me up next, but I don't know. Let me see here.
Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
The
Final Fantasy randomizer next. So.
Yeah.
Fun.
Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Have a good night, guys.
All right. See you guys.
Bye.